The Painted Skin. One early morning in Taiyuan, a young man named Wang was hurrying along the road when he saw a girl running alone, clutching a bundle, clearly struggling. He caught up quickly. She looked about 16, beautiful and delicate, and Wang instantly felt a rush of affection. "Why are you traveling alone at this hour?" he asked. The girl answered bitterly, "A passerby can't ease my sorrow. Why bother asking?" Still, Wang insisted, "If you're in trouble, maybe I can help." Her eyes dimmed. "My greedy parents sold me to a rich family. The man's wife is jealous and cruel. She beats me, mocks me, day and night. I couldn't bear it anymore, so I fled." "Where will you go?" he asked. "I don't know. I'm just trying to get away." "My home isn't far," Wang said. "Would you consider coming with me?" To his surprise, the girl nodded. Wang took her bundle and led her back to his house. Seeing no one around, she asked, "You live alone?" "It's just my study," Wang replied. "This will do," she said. "If you truly want to help me live, then promise me this. Tell no one." Wang agreed. He hid her in the secret room. For days, not a soul knew she was there. Eventually, he confided in his wife, Lady Chen, who suspected this was someone's runaway concubine and advised him to send her away. But Wang refused. One day at the market, Wang met a Taoist priest. The priest stared at him and asked, "What have you encountered recently?" "Nothing," Wang said. The priest narrowed his eyes. "You are surrounded by a dark aura. Don't pretend that nothing's wrong." Wang laughed it off. The priest sighed as he left. "Fool! Some people are dying and don't even know it." Wang grew uneasy. Could the girl be something else? But he shook the thought. She was so beautiful. Surely just a frightened young woman. He figured the priest was a fraud fishing for money. Later, outside the study, Wang noticed the door was locked from the inside. Suspicious, he climbed over the wall and peeked through a crack. What he saw froze his blood. A hideous creature with blackened skin and saw-like teeth was inside, stretching out the human skin on the bed. With a brush, it painted a face onto it. When done, it flung the brush aside, picked up the skin, gave it a shake, and dragged it over his body, transforming instantly into the same beautiful girl. Wang nearly collapsed from terror. He fled and desperately searched for the priest, finally finding him in the countryside. Falling to his knees, Wang begged for help. The priest sighed. "That spirit had done a hard life. I didn't want to kill it. It just found a new skin." But very well, he handed Wang a fly whisk. "Hang this above your bedroom door. I'll meet you later at the temple of the Green Emperor." Back home, Wang didn't dare enter the study. He hung the fly whisk above the inner room door and lay down elsewhere. Late at night, there was a soft rustle. He sent his wife to check. The girl was outside, glaring at the whisk. She couldn't pass it. She clenched her teeth, stared hatefully, and left. But soon she returned, shrieking, "Does the Taoist think he can scare me? I've already tasted the food. He can't take it back." With that, she tore down the fly whisk, smashed the door, and stormed in. She leaped onto Wang's bed, ripped open his belly, pulled out his heart, and vanished. Lady Chen wept uncontrollably. A servant brought a candle. Wang was dead. His stomach was torn to shreds. Chen was so shocked she couldn't even scream. The next day, Chen sent Wang's younger brother, Erlang, to find the priest. The priest's face turned dark with fury. "I showed it mercy, and it repaid me like this." They rushed back to the house, but the girl was gone. The priest scanned the courtyard. "Not far," he muttered. "Whose house is that?" "To the south." My own, Erlang said, startled. Then it's in your home. No one new has entered, Erlang insisted. But this morning, while I was at the Green Emperor's temple, a strange old woman came looking for a job. My wife kept her. The priest frowned. That's the one. With sword in hand, the priest stormed into Erlang's home. He shouted, Wretched ghost, return my fly whisk. The old woman panicked and fled. But the priest chased her down. She fell. Her skin peeled off, revealing a howling demon. With one swing, the priest chopped off his head. The ghost turned to smoke and twisted to the ground. The priest uncorked a gourd, and the smoke was sucked inside. He sealed the lid and put it in his bag. They looked at the skin. It was complete, with eyes, fingers, toes, all lifelike. As the priest rolled it up, it crinkled like a painted scroll. Lady Chen fell to her knees. Please, she begged, is there any way to bring my husband back? The priest shook his head. My skills are too shallow, but perhaps someone else can help. Who? She asked. There is a mad beggar at the market. He sleeps in filth. If you beg him for help, no matter what he says or does, don't get angry. Erlang knew of him. He and Chen went to find the man. He was singing nonsense, nose dripping, covered in green. Chen kneeled before him. The beggar laughed. The beauty is in love with me. Chen explained everything. The beggar roared. Plenty of men out there, why save this one? Still, she pleaded. He barked. I'm no king of the underworld, why beg me? Then struck her with his stick. Chen gritted her teeth and took the blow. A crowd gathered. The beggar hooked up a wand of flame and shoved it towards her mouth. Eat it! She turned red, but remembered the priest's words. Holding back her nausea, she swallowed. It felt soft, like cotton, and lodged in her chest. The beggar clapped. You do love me! He danced away. Chen followed him to the temple, but he vanished. Shamed and grieving, she returned home. As she cradled Wang's corpse, still sobbing, her chest suddenly churned. Something inside her rose and spilled into Wang's belly. A heart. It was warm. It still thumped. Panicked but hopeful, she shoved it in place and bound his wound. Soon, Wang's skin turned warm. She covered him in blankets. By midnight, he was breathing. By dawn, he was awake. It was like a dream, he whispered, clutching his side. My stomach still hurts. The wound had scabbled over. Within days, he was healed. This story, The Painted Skin, is one of my favorites from Liao Zhai Zhi Yi. At first glance, The Painted Skin is a ghost story about man seduced by a demon in disguise. But beneath the horror lies a far sharper blade, a brutal critic of human weakness, desire, and delusion. Wang is not just a tragic fool, he's a mirror. He sees a beautiful girl running along, and instead of asking serious questions, he follows his feelings. He ignores his wife, dismisses a wise Taoist, and chooses fantasy over truth. In that sense, the monster doesn't destroy him. He was already hollow inside. The heart he loses, ripped from his chest by the demon, isn't simply physical. It represents the moral core he gave away the moment he fell for a painted skin. And then comes the twist. To bring him back to life, his faithful wife, Lady Chen, must go through a grotesque trial of loyalty. The beggar, who turns out to be a supernatural healer, humiliates her in public. He strikes her, mocks her, and demands she eat a wand of flame he coughed up. But she does it, kneeling, weeping, and swallowing her shame. Why? Because love in this world is not clean. It's painful, humbling, and full of degradation. Lady Chen's dignity must be crushed in order to restore her husband. It's not fair, but that's the point. Pu Songling seems to be telling us. True loyalty demands far more than romantic gestures. It requires swallowing filth for someone who doesn't even deserve it. And then comes the most bitter irony of all. Wang's new heart is that very warm flame. That slimy, repulsive thing becomes the core of his being. It's a masterstroke of dark symbolism. Wang's rebirth does not make him a better man. It simply reminds us of what he always was. His heart is no longer noble, if it ever was. It was made from spit and shame, held in place only by his wife's suffering. In the end, Pu Songling paints the ugliest truth of all. The human heart is not always warm or brave. Sometimes it's just sticky with self-deception, cowardice, and filth.